pop onto Facebook Live real quick. That should be setting itself up. Oh no, we're gonna have a bunch of Joan Gregersons. I sent you a link, so.
We can just rename, I think, maybe.
Charlotte, you might be able to take the reins on that one if the host is able.
What happened?
Could you rename the panelists as they come on?
Oh, sure.
Awesome. I used Joan's link to share, so. Okay, I'm going to start sharing my screen. And we will kick this summit off. Awesome. Really, really excited to be here on day 2 of the International Climate Action Challenge Impact Summit. We have a lot of really awesome things to share, a lot of cool stories to get you motivated with. So as you're coming in, if you want to just introduce yourself in the chat, give us a little information on where you're from and what brought you here today, what kind of environmental work you're into, that would be awesome. We are going to have a few challengers join us today and speak a little bit about their projects and their 90-day experience. And then we'll be joined a little later in the session by Lanie Francisco from Bokashi Pinoy and Joan Gregerson, who is the founder of Green Team Academy and the creator of the International Climate Action Challenge. After all of that, we will actually be opening up the room for a happy hour session. We'll turn off the Facebook Live and the recording so that we can have a nice little intimate space to chat, meet, and mingle with other like-minded people. So please stick around for that if you are interested. So what is the International Climate Action Challenge? This is a program where teams join and commit 90 days to creating change within their community. Green Team Academy is so honored to be able to empower everyday people to be the change by sharing the structure, resources, and community that helps launch environmental projects within 90 days. So if you're interested in launching a project of your own, most definitely check out greenteamacademy.org and sign up for our mailing list to be notified when our 2023 challenge registration opens. So without further ado, we will get into this year's Climate Action Challenge Impact, which is absolutely awesome. We had 250 individuals, 100 registered teams join us from 29 different countries. And among the reporting teams, we collected that 50 community events were held and over 10,000 attendees were educated on different topics, climate change, different ways to mitigate climate change, take climate action. So very cool. We'll be getting into that here. Just one team was able to reach out to 10 different schools that had a reach of 700 students. They helped train teachers on the Sustainable Development Goals curriculum and were able to introduce a course so that they're able to train on climate goals in their school. We had 2 youth time bank programs started. And if you weren't able to catch yesterday's session, would highly recommend checking out the replay. We'll have the replay emailed out tomorrow, as well as it's available on our Facebook page. It was live streamed, so you can check it out there as well. There was a big emphasis on the time banking since we had Jerome Scriptunas from Youth Time Banking who joined us, and we got to share some stories about the time banks that were started up during the past 90 days. So the Climate Action Challenge is about bringing sustainable solutions to communities, and it is not meant to end after the 90 days. So we're really thrilled to be able to report that more long-term achievements were hit during this time. There were 6 youth who were employed in tree planting projects, and 150 youth were trained in project development skills, which they can utilize in a multitude of ways. So some of the opportunities that brought revenue in were production of seeds for profit, selling mangoes for profit, and then different tree planting and care processes that were started. We had 6 community cleanup events that took place, and 5 tons of organic waste that was diverted from landfill, which is huge. We are going to be joined by Lanie shortly, who will be talking about how she's using the challenge to educate and mobilize communities on the composting process in order to actually reach a higher number than that. So that's super exciting. Again, the purpose of the Climate Action Challenge is to create something that exceeds the 90 days of the challenge. So we're really, really stoked that these different groups were able to create social media accounts, create logos, hire full-time staff, and publish websites. Some of the other milestones that were achieved are there were new office locations, physical sponsorships secured, community guides created, and awareness campaigns were launched. Another really awesome number that was hit, over 96,000 trees were planted in the past 90 days. We had Chris from Trinity Forestry Services, Christopher Marvin Tumasimi. He was on yesterday and talked a little bit about the perseverance that his team really showed and how the Climate Action Challenge helped him and his group overcome barriers that were put in his way. And a good portion of these trees planted came from his group. So it was incredibly inspiring to hear how they pushed past the barriers that were in front of them and really, really are able to hit some incredible numbers with what they're doing. So over the past 3 years, the Climate Action Challenge has been gradually evolving. The first year was kind of a shot in the dark. It was trying something out. And by the second year, we realized that it was a successful blueprint of how to create change. So this year, we were able to run with that and add more statistics to this program, to the impact that the Climate Action Challenge has been able to create. And we're really excited to announce that come 2023, we're going to be partnering with Youth Time Banking and leveraging the power of collaboration to move forward and see what we can produce. There has been really incredible results that came from partnering up with Youth Time Banking and the Climate Action Challenge. And so we're going to lean into that and see what we're able to do in 2023. So over the past 3 years, there have been, excuse me, over 250 registered teams that were able to hold over 46 cleanup events, divert 13.4 metric tons of organic waste from landfill, hold over 300 community events that outreach to almost 40,000 attendees. Dozens of partnerships have been created. 48 tons of debris has been removed from waterways. Over 250,000 trees have been planted, and almost 200 farms and gardens have been started. These are astronomical numbers, especially keeping in mind that the challenge only happens for a portion of the year. So the 3 years is really these results are really a 9-month period, which is stunning. And really goes to show that all it takes is the commitment to make change. And the teams who committed to showing up for 90 days and really building on their projects have been able to do incredible things. So these numbers wouldn't be possible without our network and the support of our community. So by investing in Green Team Academy, you're investing in these groups and helping us empower people to be the change that they're looking to see. With every $25 donation that's made to Green Team Academy, there will be a tree planted in your name, and you'll receive a certificate with GPS coordinates on where your tree is actually planted. So yesterday we went through and recognized some of our eco champions, and today we're going to continue with that and hear from a few more of them. We have invited some challengers to come speak about their 90-day I'm sorry, experience, their 90-day experience. And we will also be sharing some of the videos that have been created from the teams who aren't here to join us. So I'm going to invite Dr. Anamica Bhattcharaya up to speak a little bit about her Nature Connect by Exchange Plants for Free. So I will stop sharing my screen, Anamica, so that you can share yours.
I hope it is shared.
It's looking good.
Great. Greetings from the Kingdom of Bahrain. It's a great honor and pleasure to be a part of this Global Impact Summit, International Climate Action Challenge by Green Team Academy, USA. Myself, Dr. Anamica Bhattcharaya. I'm an educator, research consultant, and a nature and art admirer. Before I start speaking about the initiatives which we took in Bahrain as well as India, I would like to coin a few terms which we all are very familiar about, and these are very fascinating terms. So here we go. Sustainability. We often speak about this in our presentations, in our talks, we read in magazines and yes, eco-conscious, environment friendly, global warming, SDGs. We all know, I'm very sure we all know about these terms very well and we can connect. Green footprints and climate action plan. I'm very sure that all of these terms are very interrelated, but how do we as an individual relate to all these terms? At the end of the presentation, if we have time, I would love to know from all of you, like, how do you connect with yourself and how we can connect so that we can share and exchange knowledge. So yes, according to me, I think let us be mindful with an empathy towards our lonely planet to bring the change through our actions, day-to-day habits and lifestyle. Let's be the change. So the eco-initiatives which we took in Bahrain under our team, Exchange Plants for Free, we started our tree plantation and exchange plants for free long back in mid of 2021. And then we formed the community in the end of November. And our first group meet was in December 2021, where more or less 20 members joined. And we had exchanged more than 50 different types of plants, seedlings, seeds, and a lot of information we have shared. As my daughter says, share and care. So we had finally shared a lot of information along with happy minds and a happy soul that collecting so many plants, rather exchanging. And we decided to continue this meeting time to time. And our last meeting was on October 15th, October 2022. And our aim is to spread the green message, spread greenery all around and protect our environment. We supported some events and institutions in Bahrain as well. We have done free plant distribution in a school in Bahrain on World Earth Day. We have also distributed free plants on World Environment Day at Seif Mall in an event which was organized by one of my friends, Safa Al-Mughlaq, and myself, and together towards a conscious planet, which was also supported by Color of East in Bahrain, where we have distributed more than 250 plants to all the participants. Then we had organized the Nature Connect event, and it was on 5th of November. And then we also inaugurated our Kids Nature Club, where we decided to connect the kids aged 5 to 15 years old to connect with nature to sustainable education. We also volunteered gardening activities with the kids of a specially able school, RIARAC, recently. And we are also making a tiny backyard garden full of medicinal herbs at the same area, which was also supported by Mr. Saji and myself and some of my friends. And we hope to present them a Christmas gift before this new year, hopefully. So I would like to share a few of the pictures of our events. These are all the pictures in our first meet. And yes. So, yes, these are the few pictures of our events. And this is my team in Bahrain. And I would like to name my team. Admin teams include Saeed Hassan Saeed, Jalila Saeed Mahdi, Nadia Al-Zira, Saji SB, and myself. And the members includes Ahila Devi, Akhil Padmanjan, Farida Bijli, Fatima Al-Khabaz, Zamila Mohana, Monica Verma Shaha, Pushpita Bhomek, Akhtar Kazironi, Salamata, Shomashri, and others. And this is my favorite team, the admin team of Exchange Plans for Free, the Facebook group, where we are approximately 68,000 members. And these are the admin teams who are handling all this. The founder was Mr. Bishwajit Roy, and they have founded the group in 2020 during the pandemic. And the founder is Mr. Bishwajit Roy, Sharbari Haldar, the other admin team members, Prabir Majumdar, Chimli Pandey, Devanshu Sen, Sandeep Dash, Shubham Nag, Dr. Malay Mukherjee, Sanchita Gaurai, Polomi Nandi Shaha, Mandip De, Rashwati Bishwash, Rana Asit, and myself, Dr. Anamica. Yes. So currently I'm working on alternative fuels from lignocellulosic biomass, and I'm also offering the research, guiding the researchers and research students in different universities and schools and colleges. So I have also personally worked on production of xylitol, bioethanol, and biofuel from the weeds, the lignocellulosic biomass. So this was all one of my part of work. And you can also find me in the LinkedIn or the Google Scholar, or you can even find me in some of the events which I organized in Bahrain in GDN Live as well. Yes, so my gratitude to Green Team Academy, the EPF members, all the climate leaders, supporters, my very best wishes to all of you from our team, Exchange Plans for Free. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Anamica. It is jam-packed, full of information. Exchange Plans for Free is a wonderful project. So thank you so much for supporting them and supporting us.
Thank you. So do you have any time to play the video?
Not at the moment.
Of course.
We'll cruise through.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So there was a poll that was launched, and so what's the easiest way to make positive impact? And I'm really excited because we have a lot of groups on here today who are going to be talking about educating youth on climate solutions. And that is actually the #1 answer that we just received. So that's very, very cool. We have a couple of other polls that we'll be throwing out throughout this time. So thank you for participating in them as they come up. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. My apologies. I'm not actually sure where the correct screen just went. Okay. Let's give this another shot. There we go. All right. So thank you, Dr. Anamica, for sharing about exchange plans for free. Another really awesome group that we had the opportunity to work with is Civil Alliance for Climate Action. And this group was able to carry out 15 different educational events that reached over 800 students. They engaged in 12 grassroots mobilizations and planted over 100 trees. So I'd like to take a minute to share their video here.
Hello everyone, my name is Coach Bokashi, team member, Civil Alliance for Climate Action, CACA. Climate change has become one of the major global challenges of the 21st century. CACA is an NGO aspiring to become a positive reference point in sustainable environment and climate action. Our mission is to promote ecological consciousness and climate change perceptions through grassroots engagement, mass literacy campaigns, education, and empowerment. During the ICAC 2022 challenge, we carried out the orientation in more than 15 schools, engaged in over 10 grassroots mobilizations, mass media campaigns, and massive tree planting exercises across the nation. People can support us through working partnerships, grants, donations, and sponsorship. Displayed on the screen are our office address, email, phone numbers, and various social media handles. Thank you.
That was an incredible effort put forward by Civil Alliance for Climate Action. And I'm really excited to
Hello everyone.
get our next speaker. Oh, is she still on? Do we have Sue available still? It is not looking like it. So hopefully she'll pop back on and we'll be able to share her story. She works, her project is Climate Collaboratory, where they put together Earth storytelling sessions to help share people's story on what they're doing for the planet. So hopefully she'll pop back on and be able to talk a little bit about it. But if not, I would love to share her website, climatecollaboratory.org, where you can go on and share a 30 to 60-second clip about how you're showing up to help the environment. So definitely take a minute to be a part of their story if you're available for it. They put on a couple of different events. There was a climate concert. They have their education little shows. Very awesome. I do hope that she comes back on and we can hear from her. But the next team that we have is CAM Urban Gardeners. They held 2 urban garden trainings to help fight food insecurity and had over 30 attendees that showed up. They set up 5 home gardens and planted over 20 trees in their community.
Kanyari Amos from Urban Gardeners. My team and I, we are fighting climate change through urban farming. How do we do it? We use the non-degradable materials. For example, they've used water plastic bottles and also the polythene bags that would be a threat to our community. As you can see on your screen, here are some of the pics of our activities that we do to engage people to have the plastics useful and productive, to have food in their homes and also protect the environment. Because as you can see today, our environment, we're facing challenges of food insecurity, but as well as our environment is becoming degraded every day with the plastics majorly. So we as urban gardeners, we are fighting that through urban farming so that we have our communities having food in their homes and also protecting the environment.
They were an awesome group to work alongside. So very, very happy about being able to share their impact and in training to fight food insecurity. So next we have up Mr. Victor. He is doing such incredible work with educating the youth, and I am so excited to have his spirit and his energy come into this Impact Summit. So Victor, we'll just ask you to unmute there and give you this.
Okay. Can I go on?
Please do.
Oh, thank you so much. And it's a great privilege to have this wonderful time where we talk on our success story. Green Team Academy have done so much great work in putting on this great platform where we'll have people across the world come together to share and also carry out activity that will make the world a better place. I'm an environmental educator, and this is almost 7 to 8 years doing this, and it's really cool doing this over time. So one thing I really want to say is we are all doing well planting trees. We are all doing well picking up wastes from the environment. They are all good things. Over time, we got thinking, how do we make the world a better place? And I realized what this great team is doing, bringing everybody across the globe, seeing what everyone is doing and seeing how we can really work out things together. Through education, I believe we can really do much together. And over time, thanks to Dr. Sue, which I've partnered with in the Climate Collaboratory, where we share more stories. And this is a session where we had a storytelling session and we had to watch a movie. And this movie is was on COP27. I won't forget this particular movie day. And it was a great moment. And this built a lot of thoughts, a lot of moments in our hearts where we had to think, what really matters? How do we go about this? There is need to change people's mindset and perspective. We can plant more trees, we can do so many things, but if their mind is not changed, the much tree that we've planted in the next 5 years will still be cut down. So that is one thing we do as environmental educator. We promote sound knowledge relating to the environment. How do we let these people know we are not really planting this tree so that you cut them down in the future? We are planting this tree so that we all can become ambassadors to the environment. And through this, we've initiated the Plant a Birthday Tree campaign, where we've donated almost more than 70 trees to students. And through this process, we plant more trees and we give them the perspective to know that they are more involved in the environment. There is the interconnectedness and interdependence they have with nature. Giving them instance like, if you plant a tree, in the next 5 years, the tree will provide you fruits. So thereby, you're not just wasting your time and following the youth time banking approach, where every time is rewarded. And this time around, you are not just planting this tree, you nurture this tree and watch this tree grow. And with time, this tree now provide fruit for you. So my goal is to say that, okay, by the end of 2023, with the help of these young minds, we should plant at least 4,000 fruit trees to students. The fruit trees will not only serve as a carbon sink, but also serve as food source to students. And also we're able to create the climate storytelling group or club where we have young minds tell more of stories, they read books, get more, thanks to sponsors and donors who help us out. And this was a session where we had to have the garbage badge, where I have to tell them the difference between the plastic waste and also the use of reusable bottles. And it was a wonderful moment. I really want to thank this great organization for giving us the time to give these young minds a voice to talk to the environment. During the COP27, we had this series of artwork where we let them understand, oh, something is going on over there. Our leaders are making decisions, and this decision will either affect us or help us in the fight against climate change. And it has been a wonderful moment. And thanks to everyone, Sue, for helping out. You've really been a great support, especially to the storytelling session. And thanks to Jean, you've been supportive, your encouragement, your motivation, the resources gotten here to enable me build on a system that really works is such an amazing one. I've learned from so many people. Dr. Anamica, you've been so supporting, and I really like the work you're doing over there in your country. And I look forward to a moment where we'll not just have a virtual session, but we'll have a live session where everybody will come over from different countries and we'll celebrate success story on how we've been doing so well in various zones. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Victor. The work that you do is absolutely incredible. And the amount of youth that you've empowered is wonderful. So we're so glad to have you along this journey. And very cool. It looks like Sue was able to pop back on. So we're going to back it up a little bit, which that's a perfect segue because Sue and Victor were able to collaborate. And like, as Victor said, he was able to introduce Earth storytelling. I think this is going the wrong way. It is. I apologize. Trying to get back to Sue here. There we go. Yeah, Earth storytelling sessions were introduced because of Sue's encouragement. So Sue, I would love to have you share a little bit more about Climate Collaboratory and your storytelling sessions and your experience over the past 90 days.
Well, thank you so much. I'm trying to figure out if I can share my screen properly.
Oh,
Just, oh, I know. There we go. Goodness. It'll take me a second here. I'm not able to optimize for the video clip. If that can be done quickly, I can do that, but otherwise I'll just do it. Sorry, I have to start over here and share my screen. Okay, so here we are at the Climate Collaboratory. I'm just so grateful to Jen for facilitating these 90 days and for Joan for creating this fabulous, powerful program. You've both helped me to grow my seed idea in the gardens of global unity where all things are possible. And here's a sneak peek of the Climate Collaboratory. And I think we have no sound, so I will. Can you hear that? No.
No.
Okay, so this is me, great grandma Sage, in the year 2050. My great grandson Leaf wants to know about the early days of the Earth's Charter Century. Oh, sorry. Anyway, let me hold that. And sorry. There. I'm just going to pause that and tell you a little of the story. The characters go into it's cartoon kind of characters from an original story called Pacha's Pajamas. And they go into a climate collaboratory in space, 200 miles, circling the human race, looking and wondering if we'll win or lose it all. And so we are telling the story with children and adults from Star Center Theater. And we've created some short videos, but I want my 8 grandchildren to know that our human family really can escape the climate calamity if we all do our part. So our storybook characters invite real people in our local community who are making a difference to tell their own stories. We use the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals to organize these stories and find ways to cooperate, collaborate, and co-create solutions. Each of the teams for the International Climate Action Challenge is part of our story. What can we do together that we can't do on our own? We shall see in 2023. Our demonstration site is in Alachua County, Florida. For the past 90 days, we've collaborated with people from local organizations, plus the Green Team Academy. In 90 days, we collaborated on 5 events for peace on and with the earth, reaching more than 240 people. We published articles in the local newspaper and appeared on TV news. We established fiscal sponsorship through the River Phoenix Center for Peace Building. I created the Climate Collaboratory because I want my grandchildren and all the children of the world to know that we absolutely can win this world game. It's a race against time to win the UN Sustainable Development Goals just over 6 years from now. Some say that's impossible. Others say it'll take a miracle. Well, I believe in miracles. We are one human family and one earth community with a common destiny. My wish, my hope, my prayer is expressed in these closing words of the Earth Charter. Let ours be a time remembered for the awakening of a new reverence for life, the firm resolve to achieve sustainability, the quickening of the struggle for justice and peace, and the joyful celebration of life. Thank you so much for helping to make this vision a reality.
That absolutely wonderful, Sue. And the amount of things that you were able to accomplish within such a short amount of time is astonishing. It truly goes to show that just taking the steps and committing to the actions can really yield some incredible results.
Yeah.
Very,
May
very
I
awesome.
thank you. And may I just add that this is year 3 of being in the, the Climate Action Challenge. And the first year was working with the University of Florida program, and we didn't quite know what we were doing. The second year, we worked on developing the community relationships. And the third year, we're really working with the children to help make this a reality.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. And I know that you were very inspiring to Victor to help him with introducing these storytelling sessions. So that's incredible. Another part
So
of
happy.
Yeah, another beautiful part of this Climate Action Challenge is the community and the collaboration that comes from it. So very, very awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us, Sue.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. It looks like we don't have Mr. Michael on. So I want to have a chance to share his video since he isn't on the call. I'm going to pop on here real quick and we will take a look at Green and Better World's video.
Team Green and Better World has been actively participating in the International Climate Action Challenge. Our mission is to make the world a better place. Our vision is to fight against climate change. During this period, we have planted more than 5,000 trees in communities and in schools. We envisage to create an environmental clubs in schools to train children how to nurture these trees and equally how to fight against climate change. Join us, let's bring our community and schools together.
Support our initiative, donate to the Good and Better Way cause. Let's fight global warming, climate change. Let's plant more trees. Let's fight against pollution. Support our initiative.
That was Mr. Michael, and he was such an awesome group to work with. They also had incredible results within such a short amount of time. Thousands of attendees came to their events, and really an honor to get to support his group. So we'll pop back into presentation mode here and Trinity Forestry Services. Again, if you weren't able to catch yesterday's session, we had Chris come on, Christopher Marvin Tumasimi from Trinity Forestry Services, and such an incredible and inspiring story he has. So would definitely recommend checking it out. But throughout the past 90 days, they were able to host different community and tree planting events, start up 4 new partnerships, establish 50 acres of forest by planting 90,000 trees, over 90,000 trees, and we're able to hire on new employees. So incredible work done within a short amount of time. Let's take a glimpse at their video.
Trinity Forestry Services, a social enterprise running reforestation projects in Uganda. We've been part of the International Climate Action Challenge organized by Green Team Academy to help teams be the change. And this is our third time participating in this challenge. And our goal for this year has been to reforestate Uganda through empowering the youth and women to be environmentally proactive. Well, we've achieved our goal. Throughout the 90 days of the challenge, my team has managed to plant 90,727 trees. We've also managed to organize tree planting events around our community and communities around us. My team has been part of environmental marches with school children and students. We've also created social and mass media awareness. We anticipate Trinity Forestry Services, a social and communities around us. My team has been part of environmental marches with school children and students. We've also created social and mass media awareness. We anticipate to have influenced and touched mindsets of over 700 plus people, youth and women inclusive, throughout the 90 days of the challenge. To achieve our goal, we didn't work alone. We partnered with a number of local and international organizations, institutions, individuals, local contractors who have the same goal and vision like ours. We are looking forward to expanding our tree nursery production and to doing so much more in the coming years than we've done before. Join us via our social media platforms. You can visit our website or email us. You can as well contact us on the numbers displayed on the screen.
That is such an incredible group of people. Very inspiring crew. And I see Joan over here. She's they've been in the challenge for the past 3 years, so Joan knows them very well, and hopefully you'll be able to talk about them a little bit during your time, Joan. That would be great. But really excited to call on Lanie from Bokashi Pinoy, who she's been using the challenge for some pretty awesome things that she's going to share. And yeah, Lanie, are you ready?
Hi, Jane.
How are you?
Yes.
Thank you.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, yeah, it's good.
All right. All right. Okay, let me share my screen right now. Hold on, stop share.
Sorry.
All right, so good morning, everyone. My name is Lanie Francisco. I'm the founder of Bokashi Pinoy. And as Jean mentioned earlier, we have joined the International Climate Action Challenge twice already, and for a good reason. So that's actually the theme of my presentation for tonight, to share with you why we have joined the challenge twice in a row. So we truly believe that compost changes everything. It changes individual lives, it changes communities, and changes the quality of the soil where our food is grown. And who knows, it can also change the corrupt government in the Philippines. Anyway, let's not talk about that. Last year, we decided to join the International Climate Action Challenge to learn how we can get more people to join our advocacy and maybe also to influence the changes in policies in the Philippines, in the Philippine government. Last year, our challenge was just to divert 100 buckets of food waste away from landfills on a monthly basis. The team thought that we are setting ourselves for failure as we were just averaging about 10 buckets at a time that year. And we thought that we needed more volunteers to help us create the hype and make people want to attend our classes and therefore be part of the advocacy. So when we joined the challenge, and I think I want to actually use the slides that Jean used this year to kind of frame the presentation. In the next 10 minutes, I will let you know how the Green Team Academy empowered us in the last 2 years. So first and foremost, Joan actually had me when she stated that she have an engineering background and found herself an accidental leader in the climate action advocacy. And I can relate to her 100% because I also have an engineering background and have been hardwired to prioritize technology over people and the planet. And so I found myself being chosen to lead the advocacy right in the middle of the issues about the environment, the economy, and the society as a whole here in my native country, the Philippines. So we started, one of the few things that I really took away from the first challenge last year is creating a vision or creating I think it's called the Big Hairy Audacious Goals. And we truly believe that we can actually have a world where healthy soil can support not just only plants, but families, communities, and the economy. But we also began to get clarity on our shared values of commitment, compassion, community, and competency. And our work actually began to speak for itself. We were quite fortunate to have partners and grant providers reaching out to us instead of us reaching out to them. The first time that we received a grant, I never imagined that we can actually receive financing for the work that we love to do anyway without pay. And I have also come to realize that climate finance is really not the issue. The issue is about the readiness of the communities to take collective and deliberate climate action. Even some nonprofit organizations seem to think that conducting webinars about climate change is enough. They call themselves climate reality leaders or environmentalists, but they cannot even segregate their waste at home. The simplest, most practical and most profound way we can do something to avert climate change, it's just dealing with our own waste, segregating it properly, and recycling or composting our food waste. Hence, we partner with organizations who share the same values of commitment, competency, community, and compassion. In order for us to gain more partners, the thing is, once you get grants and support, I think the expectation of the community also starts to become a little bit wider. The scope becomes a little bit bigger. So we decided we wanted to communicate why we do what we do. And this was clarified, especially after the first climate action. So we truly believe that there's only 60 years of farming left if the rate of soil degradation continues. And this affects not just farmers, but also our children's food security. And yet on a daily basis, we send over 1,700 metric tons of food waste to our landfills, and households are the biggest contributor. Both of these problems actually can cancel each other out. It is so simple and low tech, and yet we cannot make it happen due to systemic corruption and also the behavioral issues of individual households and communities. Hence, we believe that the solution needs to be holistic and participatory. So let me just share with you this video. One of the few things that I've learned from the challenge is that we also need to be visible. Most of the work that we have done since 2019 and 2018 are actually done in closed doors. Nobody knows what we are doing. Hence, when Joan taught us how to create 1-minute videos, we took that a little bit further and created a slightly longer video as part of our Earth Day festival, because this is one of the action items in the first International Climate Action Challenge in 2021 that we planned for an Earth Day festival, which we did. So far, it has been quite successful. So let me share this video with you guys so that you have a bit of an idea on how we were able to bring our advocacy from the city. Hold on, I cannot share the sounds. I can't share the sound. I wonder why. Anyway, I'll just talk through the video. So the Feed the Soil Corporate Challenge is actually a corporate social responsibility program that tries to restore the soil health of one of the agricultural farms in the rural areas of the Philippines. So about 135 volunteers from PLDT and SMART, this is like your Verizon business in the USA. So they joined the challenge and brought their buckets of food waste to this farm to rehabilitate it. And we were also able to invite the local officials, particularly the councilors, the barangay captains. The barangay captains are like the mayors of small towns in the Philippines. The good thing about this particular event is, again, we were able to provide visibility about the plight of the farmers, particularly the farmers who do not own land, and how composting can actually regenerate the land while at the same time addressing the issue about food waste. So this particular event paved the way for more support to kind of, for more supporters to reach out to Bokashi Pinoy, but some challenges was also came with it, more expectations from the grant providers that we need to partner with the local government, which I find really, really difficult, knowing that I'm really not a very political person. I'm not, I really hate doing small talk. And I think everyone knows that if you have to deal with the government officials, you really have to do a lot of small talk. Anyway, I think just to make it a little bit shorter, the way that I kind of socialize with these government officials is by sharing with them what we do through this Feed the Soil Corporate Challenge, something like a day of climate action, only bigger in scope, and it's usually done during Earth Day instead of November or December of every year. So we intend to do this again next year. In fact, the 90-day challenge that Jean led this year actually also helped us to plan the next Earth Day celebration a little bit better and a little bit more strategic, since this time we also got the support of the local government of Quezon City. Quezon City is actually where I live. So we are in the process of reviewing a memorandum of agreement so that Bokashi Pinoy will become the city's partner in terms of providing additional source of income for the marginalized sectors of the city. So we will be their partner in generating dignified green jobs. And this year, our day of climate action, which we held last November 19, was attended by 200 volunteers, including the public officials. And through this partnership with the Public Employment Services Office, we will be able to hire additional compost makers, 9 compost makers from the marginalized sector of society. So this is actually also a milestone for us, because if I remember correctly, engagement actually begins with a personal hero's journey and then engaging the community, and then the last part, or something like the pinnacle of your engagement with the city and the community, is actually influencing policies or governance. So maybe you are wondering what bayanihan means. Bayanihan is actually a Filipino word that means either a nation or a community. So it's actually our term for volunteerism at the community and at the national level. So I think it is a fit to say that the November 19 Day of Climate Action can be called a Bayanihan Day of Climate Action from now on onwards. So we're hoping that the Public Employment Services Office will also help us to institutionalize the Bayanihan Day of Climate Action, hopefully every either November 22 or December 5 of every year. So this is our way of doing the last R of the Empower: recruit, relax, and ripple. Again, we are intending to do the Earth Day celebration again next year in 2023, multiplying our target by 7 times. So instead of 100 buckets per month, we are now targeting about 700 buckets. And we believe that with our partner households and our volunteers at the Eco Hubs, these are the drop-off points for the food waste, and also the beneficiary farmers, we can actually make it happen. If I remember correctly, last year, all of my team members were also wondering how we will be able to meet the 100 buckets per month. We do not even know where we are going to get the grant, or we're going to get the finances to support the Earth Day celebration this year, but it happened. So we truly believe that with good intentions, with clear values and clear mission, I think there's enough financing in the climate action world that I think this is going to be possible. So again, our big, hairy, audacious goal is actually to target or to engage 29,000 households in the next 4 years or so. These 29 households is just in one city. And we're hoping that by the end of the decade, we can actually engage 2 million households in the Philippines. So that's it, guys. I hope that I was able to inspire you a bit, that all of our actions, even if it's quite small, if we actually do it collectively and we try our best to work with the powers that be, those who have the authority and those who have the ability to make decisions for the bigger society, then I think it's possible. For me, I think I've actually decided to devote my time full-time, 100% to my time in this advocacy. And for those of you who have just started, I think all of us have different stages in life and different level of passion and commitment. Nevertheless, I think just as one of the speakers last night said, all of us can actually do things imperfectly than actually doing nothing. So with the planet Earth being our common home, I think it is our accountability to do something about taking care of it, whether it's just 5% of our time, 10% of our time, 25% or 100%. All of us need to do something to protect it and probably restore it to its original condition. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Joanne, for the opportunity, and have a good day, everyone.
Thank you so much, Lanie. I can't imagine that everybody is inspired. I don't think I said that properly, but I am sure that you inspired everybody here today. That was absolutely fantastic. And I think you hit some really key points right there. One of them that I liked the best was you never know what is possible with having a clear plan and just making consistent efforts. And I think that's what this is all about, is just you can shoot for some astronomical goals. And if you're taking the steps to work toward them, there's a really good chance that you might hit them and surprise yourself. So I am stoked to hear about the growth that you're anticipating. I think that's so awesome. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing that and doing what you do. It's so important and you're doing awesome at it. Thank you. Now I'm gonna ask Joan to pop on. I'm not sure. Yeah, pop on. We can talk, and even if you want to kind of mingle, collaborate, talk a little bit with Lanie. However,
Sure.
Yeah, let's get this going.
That all sounds great. Thank you, Lanie, for sharing all that, and for everybody's stories that that we got to hear today as well as yesterday. And I wasn't able to join live yesterday, so I caught the replay on the Green Team Academy YouTube channel. So if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. And what I wanted to talk about a little bit in a few minutes here was a little bit about my story, because I think it might really relate to your story. So I'd love to make this as interactive as possible. So if you're someone who has really cared about the environment for a long time, you've tried to make an impact before, like maybe for several years, let's say you've been trying for at least 10 years to make an impact, and you feel like you're not making quite enough impact, then put something in the chat so that we know what you're thinking. And that's where I was, is that at age 10, I started working for my dad. My dad was a petroleum engineer, and I was plotting oil and gas production data. So this was back before a lot of people didn't have their computer on their desk, but if you had enough kids, like in our case, then you could have one of your kids do it for you. So I would be plotting the oil or gas production from a well. And when you run out of data, production data, you extrapolate, what do you think is going to happen next? And you just extrapolate out to zero. You draw the line out to zero. So I did that on one graph, and then the next graph, it goes up and down, you draw it to zero. Next graph, up and down, goes to zero. I was like, Dad, the main thing here is they go to zero. Like, it's not, you're all focused on this part, but the main thing is that we're working on something that's going away. That's not, I didn't know the word sustainable. I didn't know the words finite. And this is way before we were talking about climate change. But, I could see, and I think anybody can see, like, every other species on the planet powers themselves by the sun, by water, by waves. They're other species do not think, oh my gosh, we should like dig a big hole and see if we can find something to burn. Like it's not something that is part of the natural system in general. If you've ever, I read the book Biomimicry, and these laws that these species that are more developed than humans, like, don't foul your own nest, and you don't dig into the surface of the planet. Like, there's things that life does to perpetuate life, and that we as humans can learn about this stuff. So, I was super excited about all this stuff, went to college, and was like, all right, I want to do solar. And they said, well, we don't have it. And I'm like, what the heck? When I was about 9-10 years old, we had sent the first person to the moon. And so, I didn't have any hesitation that, of course, we're going to be able to take care of our planet. I mean, like, that's job number one. So, to find myself here in 2022 at age 62 and caring for the planet is not a priority. We made like Jetsons phones where we can video with people and send, stuff, gather like this from our own bedrooms with people around the world. And yet we can't take care of our planet. That doesn't make sense. So along the way, as Lanie said, I'm an engineer. So I call myself a recovering engineer, because the mindset that I was enveloped in was that we engineers, you might have heard this thing, engineers, we fix problems. So, there's a problem, we would deploy some equipment, set up some controls, and we leave. And then, we get a call from a school district saying, you know what, we didn't really get the savings that you promised. I was like, what? How could that be possible? What we ignored, like in calculations, you actually ignore things that you can't quantify. We ignored people. And so the people kept messing up the systems, both with the design of it, us as the engineers not listening to the people, and the people that were in there who had no sense of the power of some of their decisions of how they're operating the school and what impact it has on the air quality of the kids that they're trying to teach. None of that was part of our thinking. So I ended up starting a nonprofit in Longmont in 2014, and we had no idea what we were doing. We just had a small group of people, and one person said, I'd like to do something for Earth Day. And I'm like, great, let's do that. We had almost a full year to plan. We planned an Earth Day event. We got 1,000 people to show up at our Earth Day. We had 35 youth booths there, kids who had made their own trivia games and seed planting activities and theater performances and music. And we had all these nonprofits and farmers, and everybody got together and shared their thing. The most memorable was a 4-year-old kid with his mom who was obsessed. He was obsessed with marine animals. So he had stuffed animals of all the different marine animals, and you picked one, and he had like marine animal or ocean sounds in the background, and he would tell you about what it needs and how we can help it. And and he was raising money to help save turtles, and I was like, whew, this 4-year-old knows how to do this. So why is it that we as a society are not doing it? And so that is really what, so when we got those 1,000 people together, from the time we started Sustainable Revolution Longmont to 2 years later, the city council had passed a sustainability plan, hired a sustainability coordinator, and signed the Ready for 100. So it's a renewable energy pledge. They signed that before the city of Denver did. And I was like, whoa, we can make an impact. How did we just do that? Like, what just happened there? Compared to my years spent doing engineering, where I could never really figure out, are we doing something or not? Like, I'm dedicating my whole life to this, and I don't know if we don't seem to be getting there. But yet, when we started having Earth Day festivals and inviting youth and having people do art and music and like all the fun stuff. And as an engineer, I thought, God, this is like just what Lanie said, like, this is too fun to actually work, right? It has to be more painful. But the stuff that was fun, like walking in the Halloween parade or creating a bicycle float, or we're the only one that was bicycle, everybody else was cars and trucks. And we were, like running, trying to keep up, like poorly planned things of falling apart, but pushing compost carts in the parades, wearing like leaves on our head. That, like, me as an engineer, I thought, oh man, I can't do this. It's like, but it was fun, and that's what got people engaged. And so going from that, that's what I started the Green Team Academy in 2018. And my whole mission was like, how the heck do we actually make an impact? Not how do we fly all to a certain location and talk about it for days, not as Lanie was talking about, not giving webinars, like, here's the problem with ocean acidification. No, how do we actually make an impact? And along the way, I also got trained as a wellness coach. And I learned this thing called motivational interviewing. And what that is that when you're trying to help someone quit smoking, for example, you don't say, you're going to kill yourself by smoking. That's pretty much what environmentalists, the message is like, you guys, you have to stop what you're doing. You're going to kill us all. Like, if you tell a smoker you have to stop smoking, you're going to die. Like, that doesn't help the smoker quit. What helps a smoker quit is when you say, what do you love about life? Oh, you have grandkids? What do you want to do with your grandkids? Oh, where do you go fishing? What do you like? You visualize, okay, what would it be like if you were able, let's just say for some reason you were able to stop smoking? What would it be like 20 years from now? Like imagine a day with your grandkids. What would that be? That is what allows for transformation. And so as I kind of pull all these things together, the main thing that I want to share here is like, I had this little idea that, you know what, people are getting the wrong message. They're saying, here's 50 small things you can do. It's like, stop. Nobody wants to do small things. It's doing small things. If you read the book by Greta Thunberg, she says that's what drove her to depression and feeling like nearly suicidal, was people saying, well, just do small things. Turn off the water when you're brushing your teeth. And she's like, that's not going to be enough. So what we want to do is we want to train people. We want to help each other do big things. And that's what the whole Climate Action Challenge is about. And so the book came out the end. So I started writing the book. People have some other pandemic stories there. February 2020, I got into a program and they said, you got to write this book in 6 months. So the pandemic started. All these big organizations are canceling their events. And we started the first Climate Action Challenge. We got 70 volunteers, mentors that came on, people that signed up. I see a lot of their names here. Victoria, Yakota and Nan Holda, Darwin Malwele, Chris, Tumusimi, you know, people just like, yeah. And Dan Diaz Dietz in the Philippines, which is how we met Lanie. But these people that just came in and said, yeah, we'll help. So we're this tiny little organization. We had 75 people, mentors. And then we just started this thing. And the subtitle to the book is A Proven Plan for Launching Your Eco Initiative in 90 Days. And honestly, it wasn't quite really proven exactly. So it's like, you know what, we better prove it. And so we just put it out there. People from around the world came in with their ideas. And, you know, this was during the pandemic where others are canceling their events. We've got people teaching others around the world how to grow your own food from the seeds that come in from things that you buy at the market. We've got people like Trinity Forestry Services doing the urban gardening and then getting squashed with that and ending up pushing them from urban to rural, which is how they've been able to succeed. So it's just amazing to hear what everybody's doing, and this camaraderie, this community of really people helping each other. That's what it's all about. And I think that, you know, what Jen has been able to do with Green Team Academy, we were laughing so hard the other day. There's a picture of us where she came to the first, we did a little fundraiser on December 12th of 2021. And she's just like, shows up, it's like, yeah, this sounds fun. And look what just happened in the last year and what is going to happen next with partnering with youth time banking and what can happen going forward. So my message to you is that your like little idea that you have, the thing that's bothering you, the thing, you know, like Victor talking about, you know, we can plant trees, but what if the next person comes around and cuts it down if we haven't changed the mindset? And like Sue was talking about, like giving people this vision, and Lanie, you know, help people really grasp this vision. And the universe works in mysterious ways. The other thing, the universe rewards the brave. So just put that brave vision out there, but then read the Climate Action Challenge book or go through the challenge and learn the best practices. Things like getting 100 partners to multiply your impact, being able to communicate in photos, doing a day of action and taking pictures and videos, because that's the way you communicate. So all these things that I didn't know, I wasted decades being ineffective. I learned the hard way. You're seeing people do it right now, and everyone is learning from each other. And it just feels really, really good. And so I'm just like so honored and humbled to be a part of this whole thing and stand like ready and waiting to support Green Team Academy with the book and workbook and whatever it takes in this next phase going forward. So I encourage everybody out there, make a donation to Green Team Academy, sign up to volunteer, be part of the next challenge, however you can do it. And let's keep this thing going, because during COP27, okay, I'll give you an example. During COP26 last year, people were flying from all over the world. One of our challengers said, you know what? There's a refugee camp nearby where people are starving. They went in and taught them permaculture. Like, it's amazing. So I think the power of what you think of like as your little idea is huge. And this is the thing that creates the world that we want. And so I just thank everybody for being a part of this incredible movement. And thanks so much to Jen for diving in. Had she known what she was getting into, she probably wouldn't have, but she survived. And to Jerome for being there to partner for the next, the next evolution of this whole thing with youth time banking as well. So thank you. And yeah, really honored to be a part of all of this.
Thank you so much, Joan. It's funny because I'm not actually, there we go. All I could think about while you were speaking, because you're so entrancing and so just inspiring. It made me think of the first time I met you during the sustainable meetup. And I heard Joan talk and I almost knocked her over afterward. And I was like, I need you to mentor me. It was the first time I was introduced to the Climate Action Challenge. And I had just gotten back from a trip that blew my mind with the amount of waste that was in the waters, and came back to Colorado and was like, I need to do something. And Joan came and she talked about this Climate Action Challenge and what like a sure way to make change. And I was like, oh man, yeah, it
was scary. Yeah, she almost knocked me over. I'm like, is she gonna be like a stalker? Because
yeah, no, it was serious. It's like it was you sent out a beacon and it was just like, wow, this woman has what I need.
Yeah, and then I think you did some other things, and just like the universal timing, we don't have to control it all. We just have to do our part and learn the best practices for how to multiply your impact. And don't go with the thing of making a small impact. Everybody can do some small thing. It's like, we're way beyond that. I think the last thing that I meant to say was that the last chapter of the book is, okay, now I can tell you what I really wanted for you all along was for you to be a leader, a community leader. Like, look at Lanie. She's just like, oh my God, I just wanted to do Bokashi. And now she's got like mayors and all these people and, folks that are working with her in this different government association. So when you are the solution to someone else's problem, and the more people, the more partners you can be the solution to, the more that you become a leader. And so that's the really amazing thing that I see for everybody who's come through this, whether it's Sue or Victor or Lanie or Dr. Anamica, everybody, that you start with a small idea, and then those skills of getting people interested and affirming their visions, bringing everybody together. That's what makes leaders. And these are the kinds of, you guys are my dream team. Just hearing your stories, I'm just so happy to have met you and have this hand holding around the world that we're doing right now.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the content that you've created and this community that has really just built and been growing since you started it, Joan. It's incredible. And there truly is nothing too small to start. Like, if you're looking to make big change, it has to happen step by step, but know that big change is possible by taking little steps, and committing to show up for 90 days is not easy, but it's so worth it. It's to know. So I just want to share one story that was shared yesterday, but it's so powerful. We had a gentleman named Tumaini from Tanzania, joined our challenge. and got connected with youth time banking, and something that seems very small. He had his school used recycled plastics to create a little library box. That is awesome. That's incredible. The underlying factor that his community didn't have girls working with boys. They didn't think that girls could really paint and use tools the way that boys could. So gender roles were actually rewritten within his community just by building a little library box and including all of the youth. Like, that is huge. That is huge. And that actually happened in way less than 90 days. He went through the challenge, and that was like the last month of the challenge where that all happened. So it's incredible, and really goes to speak on the divine timing of things. We don't have control, but if you are consistently showing up and sure of where you're looking to go, things will kind of shift, and it might not be the red carpet that you were hoping for, but nonetheless, you will get to the goal that you have set. So I want to thank everybody for showing up. I'm going to share my screen one more time to just conclude this little session. I want to thank all of the challengers, all of the teams who took part in this 90-day challenge. The impact is not done. Your impact is just beginning, and we're so honored to be a part of your story. So thank you for showing up, committing to this time, and being the change that we really need to see right now. That's huge, and it's not an easy task to take on. Sue, in your impact report, you had a climate optimism workshop. And when I read that, I kind of laughed a little bit, I chuckled, because anybody working towards climate action to kind of rectify what is going on with this world right now needs a climate optimism workshop. So that's brilliant. And getting people together, like minds together, yields incredible results, which is what we're seeing here with this climate action challenge. So thank you for everybody who has taken the time to show up. And if you're interested in starting an environmental project in your community, most definitely head over to our website and sign up for our mailing list to be notified when 2023 International Climate Action Challenge registration opens. We definitely hope to see you in next year's challenge. And then finally, we are joining forces with Youth Time Banking come 2023, and we would love to have you along on this journey with us. So we will share a link for a volunteer application for Youth Time Banking and Green Team Academy. We're looking for a couple of things like fundraising and project coordination, content development. And if you have any skills that you would like to volunteer to grow this movement throughout 2023, we would love to hear from you. So thank you so much for your time, your energy, your just being here. Very thankful. And I see that Joan raised a hand. Hey.
There's one other thing I forgot to even mention in this whole story, is that, we've really only we had this idea that companies, school districts, whoever could take the challenge, make it happen. And last year in August, I got a message from somebody at GE who said, hey, we read your book, could we get 40 copies? We're like, wait, can we talk to you? On Earth Day, they launched a 90-day climate action challenge for GE. And they had like 87 projects that started. Honestly, I think that this challenge here that we're talking about today might have had more quantifiable results. I mean, they had some really cool things that they did. They made a virtual world and, as a place to go figure things out. They did all kinds of projects with local youth. But what I wanted to say was that, again, just like Lanie talked about and Sue, like the ideas that you have can go anywhere. And if you are someone who is thinking like, oh, we should do this with our company or with our city for their climate action thing or their school, that we can definitely, we'd love to help you make that happen because GE just did it. So I guess it works. So anyhow, that was just one little thing that we wanted to make sure that, you know, if you had some interest that way, that we said that. Yeah, so that was another little thing that we went, that Jen didn't know about before she joined us.
There were quite a few little nuggets that that were quite surprising for me.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, but I mean, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, truly. And I feel like I have come out of this like an unstoppable force. So really it was for me, you know, not to me, which I think everything really is. Sue shared a question, which I don't know, Joan, you would be knowledgeable in this. Are we able to, is there any access to GE's projects? Not that I know of, but
I know we do have, I know we have a link to an article about the challenge. So maybe I can get that to you and you can send it in your other links that you're going to send out later. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, very cool. Thank you. Awesome. So we are going to open the, well, I'm going to stop the Facebook recording and the live stream. So anybody following on Facebook or watching this after the fact, thanks for joining. And we hope to see you in the 2023 Climate Action Challenge. We're really excited about the progress and the evolution of this program. And we hope that you'll be a part and join us to launch environmental projects in your community.